While I was in the hospital, my wife took off her ring for 30 days. She didn't even meet me when I was discharged, saying, "I'm on a date with my boyfriend. Oh, he's living with us now. I put your stuff in the basement and made a couch there for you." I left a surprise box for them in the bedroom and vanished. That night, I got frantic texts. "Please come back." The construction accident happened on a Thursday. Steel beam came loose, caught me across the back. Fractured spine in 2 places, internal bleeding, collapsed lung. I was in a coma for 3 weeks. When I finally woke up, my phone was on the bedside table. 47 notifications, 46 from my coworkers and my sister, 1 from my wife. It said, "Let me know if you need anything." That was it. 4 days after I woke up. Not, "When am I coming home?" Not, "I miss you." Just that cold, distant offer she never intended to follow through on. My coworker Joseph's wife visited me 6 times, brought me real food because hospital meals were garbage. My own wife couldn't make the 30-minute drive once. I spent 5 weeks in that hospital. Physical therapy was brutal, learning to walk again while wondering why the person who promised to be there in sickness and health had completely vanished. The nurses started asking where my family was. I lied, said they were busy with work. Too embarrassed to admit my wife had effectively ghosted me while I was learning to use a walker. Discharge day came on a Tuesday. I called her that morning. She answered on the 5th ring, annoyed. "They're releasing me today. Can you pick me up around 2?" She sighed. "I'm actually busy today. Just get an Uber or something." Busy. I'd been in the hospital for over a month and she was busy. I called an Uber. The driver, this older guy named Gilbert, saw me struggling with my bag and the walker. He helped me to the car, helped me out at my house, even walked me to the front door. I tipped him $60. More kindness from a stranger than I'd gotten from my wife in weeks. I opened the front door and immediately heard laughter. Her laugh, and a deeper voice I didn't recognize. They were on the couch in my living room. Our living room. Some guy had his arm draped over her shoulders. She was wearing a new dress I'd never seen. Jewelry I didn't buy her. My wedding photo that used to sit on the mantle was face down behind the TV. She glanced up, barely registered my presence. "Oh, you're back." Not "welcome home." Not "are you okay?" Just acknowledged I existed. "This is Julio," she said like she was introducing a coworker. "He's going to be staying with us for a while. We talked about it. We never talked about anything." She took a sip of wine from my favorite mug, the one my dad gave me before he passed. "Your stuff is in the basement. I made up the couch down there for you. Should be comfortable enough until you figure things out." The basement. The same basement where I'd spent $12,000 last year building her dream home office. Custom shelving, new carpet, professional lighting setup for her photography hobby. She quit after 2 months. Julio smirked. Didn't even have the decency to look uncomfortable. Something in me went ice cold. No anger, no shouting, just clarity. I nodded slowly. "Okay, I just need to grab a few things from the bedroom." She waved me off, already turning back to him, giggling at something he whispered. I made my way upstairs, each step agony on my healing back. Went into our bedroom, into our closet. That's where I found the file, the one my lawyer gave me 2 months before the accident. I'd forgotten about it in all the chaos. See, the house we lived in wasn't ours. It was mine. Inheritance from my grandfather, titled only in my name. My wife never knew that detail. She assumed marriage meant she owned half. I took the deed, both our passports, our tax documents, and I left one single thing behind on her pillow, a manila envelope. Inside were eviction papers, 30 days notice, legal, binding, and ironclad. I set the eviction notice down and went to the bathroom, steam still on the mirror from her shower. As it cleared, I saw writing underneath. 30 more days, almost free. She'd always journaled obsessively but got paranoid about me reading them. I breathed on the mirror. More messages appeared. The fall should have finished it. These were her private thoughts she never meant anyone to see. The shower curtain moved. I wasn't alone in the bathroom. My hand went to my phone instinctively, pulled up the camera app without even thinking. Just muscle memory at this point, you know? I took 3 quick photos of the mirror messages before they started fading, the steam evaporating in the cool air. My heart was pounding so hard I could literally hear it in my ears, feel it in my damaged spine, that same pressure I'd felt when I first woke up from the coma. I breathed on the mirror again, heavier this time. Had to know what else she'd written. Had to see how deep this went. More words appeared in her handwriting. The same looping letters I'd seen on birthday cards and grocery lists for 7 years. "Can't believe he's walking already." Another breath, deeper. My lungs still hurt from the collapsed one, but I pushed through it. "Dr. Chen says full recovery possible. Nightmare." My hands started shaking, but I forced myself to keep breathing on that mirror, kept documenting with my phone. Every word, every confession she'd written thinking no one would ever see it. And then the one that made my blood run cold. "Need to slow this down." She wasn't just tracking my medical progress. She was actively hoping I'd stay disabled, hoping I wouldn't recover. This wasn't indifference or cruelty. This was calculated. This was a plan. The shower curtain rustled again, just slightly. That same sound that made me turn around in the first place. I reached out, grabbed the edge of the plastic liner, and yanked it back hard. My shoulder screamed in protest, but I didn't care. Empty. Just white tile and a chrome faucet dripping steadily, each drop echoing in the silence. But the tub was wet. Fresh water pooled near the drain, not old shower water that would have mostly dried by now. And there, clear as day, were wet footprints leading from the tub to the bathroom floor. Size 11, maybe 12, way bigger than mine. Leading straight to the bedroom window I'd left open this morning for air because the room got stuffy. I followed them, my walker scraping against the hardwood floor my grandfather had installed himself back in the 70s. The prints went directly to the window, which was now open about 6 inches. Just enough for someone to slip through if they were desperate or stupid enough. I looked out and caught movement in the backyard. Julio was sprinting across the grass, phone pressed to his ear, heading toward the back fence where a silver Honda was parked in the alley. He kept looking back at the house like he expected me to chase him, which was ridiculous considering I could barely walk. His shirt was soaked, clinging to his back, water dripping from his hair. He'd been hiding in my bathroom this whole time. Probably went in there when he heard my Uber pull up, when Gilbert's car door slammed in the driveway. Listening to everything. Heard me come upstairs, heard me find the eviction notice, heard me discover the mirror messages, and now he was running to warn her like some kind of scout. I watched him vault over the fence. Pretty athletic for a guy who'd apparently been living on my couch eating my food for who knows how long, and jump into the Honda. He was texting frantically while starting the car, thumbs moving fast, probably sending her screenshots of whatever he'd overheard, or at least warning her that I'd found everything. The car peeled out, tires squealing on the wet pavement from last night's rain, leaving black marks on the asphalt. I gripped the windowsill, watching him disappear down the alley. My hands were shaking, not from fear, just this weird combination of rage and something else. Vindication, maybe. Because now I knew for sure this wasn't just an affair. This wasn't her falling for someone else while I was gone, having some emotional breakdown because she couldn't handle the stress of my injury. This was coordinated, calculated. They'd planned this together. I took one more photo of the wet footprints, then went back to the mirror, breathed on it one final time as hard as I could. More words appeared. Insurance payout if permanent disability. And below that, in smaller letters, check policy limits. Might be $200K. She'd been planning to cash in on my injuries, actually calculating how much money she'd get if I never recovered. I documented everything. Every word, every message, every sick calculation she'd written in steam, thinking no one would ever see it. My phone storage was filling up, but I didn't care. This was evidence. This was proof that the person I'd married had become someone I didn't even recognize. Then I went back downstairs, each step deliberate and careful. My back screamed at me, but I ignored it. Pain was just information now, something to manage, not something to fear. She was standing in the living room now, arms crossed, no longer cuddling on the couch. The wine was on the coffee table, half empty. The smile was completely gone from her face. She knew something had changed.
Julio must have texted her. "What do you want?" Her voice was flat, defensive, like I was the one who'd done something wrong here. I held up the eviction notice, still crisp and official looking. "You have 28 days to vacate the property. That's what I want." She actually laughed, this sharp, bitter sound that didn't match her face at all. "You're insane if you think that's happening. I'll claim common law rights to half the house value. My lawyer will eat you alive. You can't just throw me out of my own home." "Your lawyer." I pulled the deed from my jacket pocket, unfolded it slowly, deliberately. Let her see the county seal, the notary stamp, the official letterhead. "This house is inheritance, solely in my name. You have zero claim to it. Zero." Her smile faltered, just for a second, just long enough for me to see the panic flash across her face before she covered it up. She grabbed the deed from my hands, nearly ripping it in her rush, scanned it frantically. Her eyes caught on the property title section. Just my name in bold letters. Just my grandfather's name before that in the previous owner section. No mention of her anywhere on the document. But she recovered fast. She always did. That's what made her dangerous, you know? That ability to pivot, to find a new angle when one didn't work. "Fine, fine." She threw the deed on the floor like a child throwing a tantrum. "I'll tell everyone you abandoned me during your recovery. I'll make you look like the villain. I'll ruin your reputation with every friend we have, every family member who'll listen. You'll be the guy who threw his wife out on the street after a construction accident, after she supported you for years, took care of everything while you were building your career. How's that gonna look at Joseph's barbecues? At your sister's place? At the company picnics? You think anyone's gonna take your side?" I pulled out my phone, tapped the screen twice, and played the recording I'd started the moment I walked in the house.
I'd learned to record everything after a supervisor at work tried to blame me for a safety violation that wasn't my fault. Saved my job back then. Might save my life now. Her voice came through the speaker, crystal clear, no distortion. Your stuff is in the basement. I made up the couch down there for you. Should be comfortable enough until you figure things out. Julio's laugh in the background, deep and mocking. Her giggling at whatever he'd whispered. Probably something about me, about the situation, about how pathetic I looked with my walker. Every word, every dismissive tone, every casual cruelty, all of it captured in perfect audio quality. Her face went white, actually drained of color like someone pulled a plug. I'd never seen her look like that before. She lunged for the phone, but I stepped back, and with my walker between us, she couldn't reach me fast enough. I held it above my head, which hurt like hell but was worth it to see the desperation in her eyes. Give me that, right now. No, she stopped, breathing hard, and then her face just crumpled, like someone flipped a switch from rage to desperation. She started crying, these big theatrical sobs, covering her face with her hands the way she always did when she wanted sympathy. I'd seen this before. She did it when her mother questioned her spending habits, when her boss confronted her about missing work, when I asked her about the credit card bills I'd found in the trash. I made mistakes, okay? I made mistakes, but I was scared. I didn't know how to handle your injury. Julio was just emotional support, someone to talk to. I was terrified of losing you and I handled it badly, but it doesn't mean I don't love you. We can get through this. We've been through worse. Remember when we lost the baby? Remember when your dad died? We got through those things together. I just stared at her. We'd never been through worse because those things happened to us together. She'd been there then, or at least I thought she had. We'd never been through anything where she actively worked against me. That was becoming clear now. What about the mirror message? I asked quietly, calmly, like I was asking about the weather. The one that said the fall should have finished it. She froze. Actually froze mid-sob, her hands still covering her face but no sound coming out, like I'd pressed pause on a remote. I don't know what you're talking about. I held up my phone again, showed her the photograph. Her handwriting, her words, her thoughts preserved in digital clarity with a timestamp and everything. She stared at the screen for maybe 10 seconds. Her mouth opened, closed, opened again. No words came out. She looked like a fish drowning in air. You have 28 days to vacate, I said again, putting my phone back in my pocket. I suggest you start packing. I have nowhere to go, she screamed it this time, all pretense gone. No more tears, no more performance, just rage and desperation. I have no money. Julio won't take me in. He was just temporary, a distraction. You can't do this to me. You can't just throw me out. Where's the $42,000 from our joint account? She blinked. Confusion replaced the anger for just a moment. What? I checked this morning while I was waiting for my discharge papers. The account we've been contributing to for 5 years had $60,000 in it last time I looked, maybe 6 months ago before the accident. Now there's $18,000. Where did $42,000 go? She stammered, her face flushing red now. Bills, expenses. The house isn't cheap to maintain. Property taxes went up this year. Insurance doubled. The water heater needed replacing. You know how it is. I pulled up the bank statements on my phone, turned the screen toward her. I'd been reviewing them for the last 2 hours in the hospital parking lot before calling that Uber, sitting in my wheelchair because I couldn't stand that long yet. All cash withdrawals, all transfers to accounts I don't recognize, over the course of 5 months, $42,000. While I was in the hospital fighting to walk again, you drained our account. You stole from me. Her shoulders sagged. The fight went out of her posture all at once, replaced by something else. Resignation, maybe, or just exhaustion from maintaining the lies for so long. I have debt, okay? Credit cards you didn't know about. I needed the money to keep up minimum payments or I'd get sued. The interest was killing me. I was planning to divorce you anyway, take half the house to clear everything, but then the accident happened and that complicated things. There it was, just laid out like she was describing her grocery list or what she'd watched on Netflix. She just kept talking, like she couldn't stop herself now, like she wanted me to know, needed me to understand her logic. I thought if you stayed disabled, I could get caretaker benefits and still leave you eventually. Apply for disability support, get that monthly check. Wait a year or two while you were dependent on me, then file for divorce. The accident was inconvenient timing because you were recovering too fast. Dr. Chen kept calling with good news, and honestly, I just wanted him to shut up. Every time he called saying you were making progress, I wanted to scream. I felt like I'd been punched again. Same sensation as when that steel beam hit me. That moment of impact where everything goes white and you can't breathe. You wanted me to stay disabled. I didn't. She stopped, realized what she'd just admitted out loud. Her eyes went wide like she'd surprised herself. I didn't mean it like that. I just meant that the timing was bad. The recovery was unexpected. I just meant, what about the mirror message? Need to slow this down. What does that mean exactly? I was venting. I write on the mirror when I'm stressed. It's just venting, just thoughts. You're misreading it. You're taking things out of context like you always do. I showed her another photo. Her handwriting clear as day. Skipped his PT appointment reminder. Oops. Her face went gray. Actually gray, like old meat left in the fridge too long. You deliberately sabotaged my recovery, I said slowly, making sure every single word landed. You didn't pass along my physical therapy scheduling calls. The hospital left 3 messages on our home phone about rescheduling. I saw them in the deleted folder this morning. You erased them. That was one time. I forgot. I was busy with Julio. She didn't answer. Just looked at the floor like it might open up and swallow her. I put my phone away. Felt the weight of it in my pocket. Evidence. Leverage. Truth. I'm filing for divorce tomorrow morning. Adultery and financial fraud. You'll get nothing from this marriage except maybe a criminal record if I decide to press charges for the theft. She laughed again, but this time it was panicked, high-pitched, desperate. You think that'll work? I'll claim you're abusive, that you're unstable from pain medication, that you're fabricating all of this because you can't handle me moving on with my life. I'll tell them about the time you punched the wall, about all our arguments, about how you tried to control my spending. I'll make you look crazy and violent. I punched the wall once, 3 years ago, after finding out she'd been fired from her job for stealing office supplies and lied to me about it for 2 months. I'd been paying her salary out of my own account because she said work was slow and paychecks were delayed. She'd been sitting at coffee shops all day spending money we didn't have. I pulled up another recording. This one was from 2 weeks ago, recorded during one of Eleanor's visits. Eleanor's voice, Joseph's wife, the woman who visited me 6 times and brought me decent food and magazines and just sat with me when the pain was too bad to talk. I'm just worried about him, Eleanor said in the recording. Her voice was soft, concerned. His wife never showed up once, not once in 5 weeks. I asked the nurses because I thought maybe she came at night or early morning, different shifts, you know? They checked the logs. She called once to check if he was still alive, and that was it. She seemed relieved he'd be gone for a while. Those were the nurse's exact words, not mine. Relieved. I stopped the playback. Let the silence hang there. Everyone already knows you abandoned me. Joseph knows. Eleanor knows. The nurses documented every single visit in their system. There's a sign-in sheet with timestamps. You have 0 credibility left. She stared at me, and for the first time since I'd known her, I saw actual fear in her eyes. Not panic, not anger, fear. I'll leave quietly, she said, her voice shaking now, desperate. I'll go. I'll sign whatever papers you want, but you need to pay off $30,000 of my debt. That's fair. That's the absolute least you can do after 7 years of marriage. After everything I did for you. After all the years I supported your career. No. Then I'll trash the house before the eviction. I'll destroy everything. Every piece of furniture, every appliance. I'll pour bleach on the carpets. I'll smash every window. I'll make sure this place is worthless. See how much your precious inheritance is worth then? Any damage will be documented and added to the divorce settlement. You'll owe me for repairs. Everything's insured. You want to dig yourself deeper into debt? Go ahead. I have insurance that'll cover it. You have nothing. She looked at me like I was a complete stranger. You're heartless. I don't even know who you are anymore. The man I married would never do this. Heartless was hoping the fall would finish me. She flinched like I'd slapped her across the face. I turned and walked out, grabbed my bag from the hallway, the one Gilbert had helped me carry in maybe 30 minutes ago. It felt like 30 years had passed since I walked through that door. I left through the front door, didn't look back, heard her start crying again behind me but kept walking. Each step hurt, but I kept going. I stayed at a hotel that night, the Holiday Inn near the highway, room 237. Decent place, nothing fancy but clean. Clean sheets, working TV, water pressure in the shower that didn't make me want to file a complaint. I called my lawyer from the room, a guy named Pete Harrison I'd used when buying my first truck. Sent him everything, the recordings, the photographs, the bank statements, the hospital visitation logs I'd requested that morning before discharge. He listened to everything, looked at every photo, and then just whistled low. In 15 years of practice, this is the most documented betrayal I've ever seen. Judges hate this kind of thing, like viscerally hate it. You're gonna be fine. What about her claiming I'm unstable or abusive? With this evidence, she could claim you're an alien from Mars and no one would believe her. The hospital records alone destroy that narrative. Plus, you've got witnesses, recordings, financial documentation. She's got nothing. Over the next week, I watched her try to rally our mutual friends through social media. She posted vague things on Facebook about betrayal and being blindsided, and when you give someone everything and they throw you away like trash. The comments were supportive at first. Hearts and hugs and "you deserve better, girl" and "his loss" from people who didn't know what actually happened.
but I'd already sent the hospital visitation logs to 3 couples we were closest with. Dave and Jennifer, who we'd gone camping with last summer up in the mountains. Mike and Stephanie, who came to our wedding and got drunk at the reception. Tom and Ashley, who lived 2 blocks away and had dinner with us twice a month, always brought wine. The logs were official hospital documents. They showed she visited 0 times. Eleanor visited 6 times over 5 weeks. My sister visited twice, once right after I woke up, and once the week before discharge. Joseph stopped by once with a card signed by the whole crew at work, 23 signatures. The responses were immediate and brutal. Dave called me directly at the hotel. Is this real? These logs? Yeah. She didn't visit you once? Not one single time? Not once. He was quiet for a long time. I could hear Jennifer in the background asking what was wrong. We're sorry, man. We didn't know. She made it sound like she was there constantly. Said she was sleeping at the hospital, barely leaving your side. 2 of the couples blocked her on social media that same day. I know because she posted about it, something about fake friends showing their true colors. The 3rd couple, Tom and Ashley, sent me a long message saying they were sorry they didn't realize what was happening and if I needed anything to let them know. They offered to help me move when I was ready, offered their guest room if I needed a place to stay. I sent the mirror photographs to her parents. Took me 3 days to work up the nerve. I'd known them for 7 years, went to their house every Thanksgiving, helped her dad install a new water heater in their basement 2 summers ago. They were good people. They didn't deserve this. Her mother called me first, crying so hard I could barely understand her. Did she really write those things? Yes, ma'am. About hoping you stayed disabled? About the fall finishing it? Yes, ma'am. Her mother hung up, just clicked off without saying goodbye, without another word. An hour later, her father called. His voice was different than I'd ever heard it, tired, defeated. She's claiming you fabricated them, photoshopped them, or used some AI thing, but I can see her handwriting. I know my daughter's handwriting. I taught her to write cursive when she was 7 years old at our kitchen table. I didn't respond. What was there to say that wouldn't make it worse? I'm sorry, her father said quietly. For whatever that's worth coming from me, we raised her better than this. At least I thought we did. I don't know where we went wrong. You didn't go wrong, I said. This isn't on you. People make their own choices. He hung up. I never heard from them again. On day 15 of the eviction notice, Julio showed up at the house. I was there collecting my tools from the garage, stuff I'd need for side work once I was cleared to go back to construction. My impact driver, my circular saw, the level my grandfather gave me when I started my apprenticeship 20 years ago. Things that actually mattered, that had meaning. I heard voices inside and stopped. The door connecting the garage to the kitchen was cracked open maybe 3 inches. I could see them through the gap, standing by the kitchen island. You said we were saving for an apartment, Julio was saying. His voice was loud, angry, none of that smooth charm he'd shown on the couch. You said you had $8,000 saved up for the deposit. First month, last month, security deposit. You had it all figured out, had spreadsheets and everything. I did have it, she said, defensive, arms crossed. But things came up. Expenses you don't understand. You don't know how expensive it is to maintain a house this size. Where's the money? Where's the $8,000? Silence. I could see her looking at the floor, at the counter, anywhere but at him. Where's the $8,000 I gave you 3 months ago? More silence. Answer me! He actually yelled it, and I heard something slam. Maybe his hand on the counter, maybe a cabinet door. You spent my money on your credit cards, didn't you? All those shopping bags I saw you trying to hide in the closet. The new jewelry, the clothes. You spent my money paying off debt for stuff you bought yourself. I didn't scam you. I borrowed it temporarily to manage some cash flow issues. Borrowed? You told me it was for our apartment, for our future together. You showed me listings. We talked about neighborhoods. You're a liar. You're a scammer. You scammed me. You scammed him. You probably scammed everyone you've ever been with in your entire life. This is just what you do. Get out of my house. Your house? This isn't even your house. You don't own anything. You're broke. You're about to be homeless. And you burned every bridge you had. Your friends won't return your calls. Your parents won't talk to you. And I'm done. I'm so done with you. Good luck finding someone else stupid enough to believe your bullshit. I heard the front door slam hard enough to rattle the windows, watched through the garage window as Julio got in his silver Honda and drove off, tires screeching like he was trying to leave rubber marks on the street. Probably was. Probably felt good. She was completely alone now. I waited 5 minutes, then quietly loaded my tools into my truck and went back to the hotel. Didn't feel good about what I'd heard. Didn't feel bad either. Just felt empty, like I'd spent 7 years married to someone who never actually existed. Just a performance she'd been putting on. On day 22, I got a call from hotel security at 11 p.m. I was watching some mindless reality show on TV, trying not to think about the physical therapy appointment I had in the morning, trying not to think about how much my back was going to hurt tomorrow. Mr. Anderson, we have a situation here. Your wife is in your room, in room 237. I drove back immediately, didn't even change out of my sweatpants and old college t-shirt, walked into my room and found her sitting on the edge of my bed, staring at the wall, calm, too calm, like she'd taken something or just given up completely on whatever facade she'd been maintaining. How did you get in here? She didn't answer, just kept staring at that beige wall like it had answers written on it. How did you get a key card to my room? Still nothing, just that blank stare. I'll sign anything, she said finally, her voice completely flat, emotionless. Just give me 60 days instead of 28. I need time to get my life together, find a place to stay, find a job, get back on my feet, something, anything. I'll sign whatever divorce papers you want. I'll admit to everything you want me to admit to. Just give me 60 days. How did you get into my room? She looked at me then. Her eyes were bloodshot, exhausted, with dark circles underneath. Does it matter? I gave the desk clerk a sob story about being locked out of my husband's room, showed her my old wedding photo on my phone, the one from our honeymoon. She felt bad for me. People are easy when you cry. You just have to know how to cry the right way. I called security. They came up within 2 minutes. 2 guys in cheap uniforms looking annoyed at having to deal with this kind of drama. They escorted her out while she screamed in the hallway, her voice echoing off the walls. You're cruel. You're vindictive. After everything I did for you, after I took care of the house while you were gone, after I managed everything, this is how you repay me. The hotel manager, a tired-looking woman named Patricia, with gray roots showing through her dye job, apologized profusely, said they were investigating how she got a key card, said the clerk would be written up at minimum, said this was completely unacceptable and violated their security protocols. She offered to move me to a different room. I took it without hesitation. Room 412, different floor, different view of the parking lot, different locks. I didn't sleep that night. Just lay there in the new room thinking about how someone I'd shared a bed with for 7 years could become this. Or maybe she'd always been this, and I just never saw it because I didn't want to. That thought was worse somehow. The idea that I'd been blind by choice. Day 25 came around. She was still in the house. Hadn't packed a single thing as far as I could tell from the times I'd driven by. I'd gone past twice. Seen lights on in every room, her car in the driveway like normal, just sitting there like the eviction notice was some kind of suggestion she could ignore. I showed up with sheriff's deputies for the final eviction at 9 a.m. sharp on day 28. 2 officers, both looking like they'd done this 100 times before and would do it 100 more. She opened the door in sweatpants and an old concert t-shirt from some band she claimed to like but couldn't name 3 songs by. Hair unwashed, greasy, hanging in strings, eyes red from crying or not sleeping or both. She genuinely believed I'd cave at the last minute. I could see it in her face, that shock, that disbelief. You have 2 hours to take essentials, the first deputy said, reading from a clipboard with official county letterhead. After that, the locks will be changed and anything remaining becomes property of the homeowner. You have the right to request additional time through the courts, but that process will take approximately 6 to 8 weeks, and you'll need to vacate the premises during the proceedings anyway. Do you understand your rights as I've explained them? She looked at me, standing behind the deputies on the front lawn I used to mow every Saturday. You can't do this. This is my home too. I've lived here for 7 years. 2 hours, ma'am, the deputy repeated. Not unkindly, but not sympathetic either. Just doing his job like he probably did every Tuesday. Starting now. She started crying, frantic now, running around the house throwing random items into trash bags like she was shopping during a fire sale. Clothes from the closet, books from the shelves she never read, kitchen supplies we got as wedding gifts and never used. That blender she insisted we needed for her healthy lifestyle phase that lasted maybe 2 weeks. The bread maker still in its box after 3 years. Stack after stack of magazines she swore she'd read someday but never did. She filled 12 trash bags in 90 minutes, working frantically, muttering to herself, occasionally yelling questions at the deputies who just ignored her. I heard her on the phone at one point, crying to someone, maybe her sister who lived 3 states away, maybe a friend who hadn't blocked her yet. He's throwing me out. He's actually throwing me out with cops and everything. I have nowhere to go. Can I stay with you? Just for a few weeks? The deputies stood in the doorway, bored, checking their phones, occasionally answering their radios when dispatch called about other evictions scheduled for later. I stayed by my truck, watching from a distance. My back hurt from standing that long, but I wasn't going to sit down. Needed to see this through to the end. As she was loading the last bag into her car, a beat-up Nissan Altima with a cracked windshield and a dent in the passenger door, she stopped.
just froze there with the bag half in the trunk, turned around slowly. The deputies were still there, standing by their vehicle now, one of them filling out paperwork on his clipboard. She walked toward me, slowly, deliberately, like she'd made some kind of decision or just didn't care anymore what she said. "You were supposed to stay broken," she said quietly. No tears now, no performance, no fake emotion, just flat, empty, honest for maybe the first time in months, maybe years. I could have gotten the money and left clean. The insurance payout for permanent disability was going to be huge. The caretaker benefits, the sympathy from everyone we know, everyone at church, everyone in the neighborhood. I could have played the devoted wife for a year, maybe 2, then filed for divorce once you were too messed up to fight me properly, and I would have gotten half of everything plus the insurance money, the house, the savings, everything. I could have cleared all my debts and started over somewhere nice. You weren't supposed to recover this fast. Dr. Chen said it could take years. He said there was a good chance you'd never get full mobility back, that you might need a wheelchair permanently. You weren't supposed to walk out of that hospital on your own 2 feet. I just stared at her. She'd finally admitted it. No more dancing around it. No more excuses. No more deflection. Just the raw truth. "You ruined everything by getting better," she said. Then she got in her car and drove away. Didn't look back. Just pulled out of the driveway and disappeared down the street. The deputies changed the locks right there. Had a locksmith waiting in his van 2 houses down. Said they coordinate this kind of thing for safety reasons. One of them, the older guy with gray at his temples and a wedding ring, looked at me after they finished. "You all right?" "Yeah, I think so." "That's rough, man. Really rough. But you did the right thing." "Yeah." They left. Gave me the new keys. Told me to call if she came back and caused problems. I went inside my house. My grandfather's house. The house that was finally just mine again after everything. It smelled different already, like the space itself knew she was gone and was breathing again. The house sold 3 weeks later for $200,000 above asking. Apparently the market had surged while I was in the hospital and recovering, and the location was suddenly prime real estate. Tech company called Vertex Systems was building a massive campus 2 miles away, and suddenly everyone wanted to live in this neighborhood that used to be considered too far from downtown. My realtor, this energetic guy named Frank who talked way too fast, said I'd gotten incredibly lucky with the timing. I didn't feel lucky, but I took the money anyway. $425,000 after closing costs and fees. More money than I'd ever had in my life. The divorce finalized 8 weeks after that. Adultery, financial fraud, abandonment during medical crisis. The court date was on a Wednesday, October 14th, 10 a.m. in Judge Morrison's courtroom. She didn't show up. Her lawyer, this exhausted-looking public defender she'd gotten for free through legal aid, said she'd waived her right to contest anything, just wanted it over with so she could move on with her life. The judge, an older woman named Judge Patricia Morrison, who looked like she'd seen every terrible thing humans could do to each other in 30 years on the bench, actually looked disgusted reading the case file. She kept shaking her head, making these small, disapproving sounds. She asked my lawyer 3 times if the evidence was accurate, if everything had been verified. He confirmed everything with documentation. She got nothing. The judge ruled she owed me $14,000 in restitution for the joint account funds she'd stolen, plus $8,000 in legal fees, plus $25,000 in damages for the emotional distress and sabotaged medical care. I'd probably never see that money, and we both knew it. But it was on record now. Official. If she ever got assets, got an inheritance, won the lottery, got a decent job, I could collect. The debt would follow her. Her debt collectors started calling me 2 days after the finalization. 5 different numbers over 3 days, different companies, all wanting to know if I'd co-signed anything, if I was legally responsible for her purchases, if we'd had joint credit cards they didn't know about. My lawyer sent them certified letters with proof that every debt was solely in her name, opened after our marriage, without my knowledge or consent. Credit cards I never knew existed, store cards, personal loans. He sent documentation to all 5 companies. They stopped calling within a week. A month later, I got a Facebook message from someone named Isabella Cruz. The profile picture showed a woman in her 30s with the same dark eyes as Julio. "I'm Julio's sister," the message said. "I'm trying to locate your ex-wife to serve small claims papers. She borrowed money from me, my mother, and my brother under false pretenses. She told us she needed help with medical bills for her injured husband. Said insurance wasn't covering the treatments you needed. Showed us fake hospital bills and everything. We gave her $6,000 total over 3 months. Found out later she spent it all on credit card debt. If you have any contact information for her, please let me know. Our lawyer says we need a current address for proper service of the lawsuit." She'd scammed his entire family, too. Told them I needed surgery I couldn't afford. Julio apparently didn't know she'd asked his family for money until after they broke up, until after he'd already given her his own $8 grand. He'd told Isabella everything once he realized what she'd done, and now they were trying to get their money back. I blocked the account. I had nothing to give them. No forwarding address, no phone number, no idea where she'd gone. She'd disappeared, and that was perfectly fine with me. They could find her themselves or not. Wasn't my problem anymore. 6 months later, my physical therapist cleared me for full activity. Her name was Dr. Amy Kowalski, and she'd been working with me 3 times a week since I left the hospital. She was tough as nails, didn't let me slack off, pushed me when I wanted to quit and give up. "Your back will still ache when it rains," she said, reviewing my chart on her tablet. "Probably always will. Old injuries like yours don't forget. The scar tissue doesn't heal the same way, but you can work again. Full-duty construction. No restrictions. Just listen to your body and don't do anything stupid." My back still ached when it rains. Still does to this day. Probably always will. But I could work again. I could live again. Could pick things up off the floor without planning it like a military operation. Could sleep on my side without waking up at 3 a.m. in pain. Could stand for more than 20 minutes without needing to sit down. I sold my grandfather's house for $425,000, moved 2 states over to Colorado, started completely fresh. New job with a commercial construction company called Peak Builders that paid better than my old one. New apartment in Fort Collins with mountain views from my balcony. New gym routine that didn't destroy my back. New life that didn't include anyone from before except my sister, who I called once a week. I never think about her anymore.